It is now March, and I don't know about you guys. I don't know whereabouts you are in the world or in the UK, in the country, but where I am, the sun has come out today, and it really truly is the very beginning of springtime. We're getting out of those horrible depths of winter at the absolute worst, and we're getting slightly longer days and brighter mornings and brighter evenings, and just things are looking up. Personally, for me, the sun really does just fix fix all of my problems sometimes. I'll be having a bad day and then I see a glimpse of sunlight and suddenly life is worth living again. But basically, all of this is to say that at the moment, I'm really feeling the need to kind of fuel my whimsy, fuel my inner child, fuel my more playful and fun side, and just enjoy life a bit more, especially now that it's turning into spring and we're getting our days back. So, in my attempt to do that, as we had the last month of winter in February, I basically committed to not reading any of my usual mysteries and thrillers because those can admittedly get a little bit dark and depressing, and instead choose books which were fun or uplifting. I mean, some of them were not entirely uplifting, but just, more fun themes and things that were just enjoyable to read in a way that I wouldn't usually enjoy them because they're not my usual genre or my usual favorites. I didn't particularly get through very many books in February, so this isn't like a definitive list of all of the things that you should read. I literally only have 4 or 5 here, but I just want to kind of inspire you guys to pick up something fun, pick up something different, pick up something that's gonna fuel your whimsy. So let's get into the books that I read in February. My first February read was A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed, and I adored this. I loved it from the get-go. Loads of people recommended this to me, and when I put it on my story that I had started reading this, lots of people replied being like, oh my gosh, this is one of my favorites. You're going to really enjoy it. And boy, they were not wrong. So, this is a high fantasy book. What I loved about it the most is that it revolves around this author's legacy, but there's also loads of like mythical creatures and like fantastical ideas and like these high fantasy ideas, which I just absolutely love and I think is really, really essential for fueling your whimsy, as I keep saying. Using your imagination and like reading books where you can tell that the author has really used their imagination is just something that I absolutely love. I do read fantasy, but I haven't been reading it so much recently because I've been finding them really hard to get through. So if you want a book that's not too long, but also it's just like it's the perfect length. And it does have a sequel, which I need to get around to reading. If you want something like this is absolutely one of the things I would recommend. There's not a magic system as such, and I think those are normally the ones that I find harder to get into. So that's probably why I got through this one so easily. But yeah, highly recommend picking up high fantasy if you haven't already. And on the topic of high fantasy, the second book that I read in February was A Royal's Game by Georgina Bollum, which, if you guys have been following along on this account, you will know that this has been on my TBR for such a long time, like the absolute longest time. I think I made a video like 2023 saying books I need to read this year, and this was on it. But we got around to reading it. And this was another high fantasy with a load of just like themes and little mentions and little tropes and stuff that I really enjoyed. The thing about this one was that I actually do know the author and I knew some of the things that she might potentially like try and slip in there, aka like a little Olivia Rodrigo reference, stuff like that. And I just absolutely adored seeing all those little things and like knowing who was behind the book. And I know this is a very kind of unique case because you're not always gonna be able to read a book by someone that you know. But I just think if you see a book advertised where they're like, the author is a massive Taylor Swift fan and you're also a Taylor Swift fan, and like she writes contemporary romance or something, you're probably gonna enjoy that because she's gonna be able to set some Taylor Swift in there. Basically, what I'm saying about this one is just to try and find little things that you enjoy because it doesn't have to be like the whole book, but if you can find a book where you find yourself smiling at the most random tiny little detail every other page, it's just gonna make your life so much more fun. Like honestly, this was not the sort of book that I usually read, but I was so invested in it every single night because I just knew that I was going to find something else that I really liked within the next few pages, and that's what kind of kept me going. Oh, and this is the one that reminds me, if you're really stuck on what to read, you know what you should do is you should judge a book by its cover. You should find a book that you absolutely adore the cover of. This, for me, this is one of these ones, and just choose that one because, like, look how gorgeous, and I ended up loving it. Like, sometimes it really is that simple, just picking up something you like the look of. My third read of February, which is on a bit of a different theme here, this book, Matilda by Roald Dahl. And this one really truly healed my little childhood heart. Matilda, the movie, I can't remember which version, not like the most recent musical one of these slightly older ones, is one of my absolute all-time favorite movies. And I realized that I either never read the book or I probably did read the book when I was younger, but it was so long ago, obviously, that I don't remember it. Yes, it's a children's book. Yes, I still rated it 5 stars. Yes, I still had the time of my life reading this. I would highly recommend going and picking up either one of your childhood favorite books or a book that's like or a book that's like the book version of a film that you really love, or just something that you know that your younger self really would have liked the look of. And the bonus with this one is that I managed to find a copy of this in my favorite color. I've had this copy sitting around for a while and I just really wanted to read it, and I thought, you know what, if I'm doing this month with reading things to fuel my whimsy, this is perfect, and it absolutely was. The next two, I actually have not got around to finishing either of these. This one, A Darker Shade of Magic, I have been reading for multiple months. I started it a while ago and I forgot I was reading it almost. So this one is on the go. And this one I started after I finished Matilda. This is Divine Rivals. And what I want to say about these two is also kind of continuing on from earlier with the reading high fantasy, is that these two definitely have that aspect of magic. And I think magic in particular is the one thing where I always feel like very transported away because obviously it's not part of our world. So it's just really easy to get kind of invested in a whole other world, and it's just incredible to kind of picture these things happening. And it's definitely one of the things that just helped me feel far away and like I'm in a whole other world, and like I'm truly being my most whimsical self. Like I said, this was not a whole comprehensive list of all the things you could read. I'm just kind of giving some inspiration for some of the things to bring some more joy back into your life and into your reading if that's something that you feel like has been lacking recently. I am going to get back into some of my mysteries and thrillers because I have been missing them, but I'm also just going to kind of mix in, maybe alternate this sort of fantasy and mystery to keep up that level of whimsy. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.